Hello dear learners, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about one of the important concepts, or you can say one of the pillars of Java, and that is inheritance. Now inheritance is a very common concept and most of us are very much aware of what exactly inheritance is, how it is implemented, but very few of us understand when to implement inheritance. Now this is again a question that I get from a lot of my students, that when should I decide that in this particular scenario I can implement inheritance. Now the rule for that is absolutely simple. In fact, the rule is a one line. If you could answer this one particular question always, you will always be able to understand whether in a particular scenario can I implement inheritance or not. Now, the rule that I'm talking about is basically a type of or an is a rule. So every time you think of inheritance, you should always check about, let's say if I have two objects, object A and object B. Only if object A is a type of or is a B, in that case only you can implement a inheritance relationship. Let me explain here. That let's say if I say a lion and animal, let's say lion is object A and animal is object B. So if I can say that lion is a type of animal, or if I can say lion is an animal or an animal, in that case only I can implement a inheritance relationship. So if this statement comes out to be true, you can implement inheritance. Otherwise you cannot implement inheritance in that case. Like a very common mistake that most of my students, or I see most of the learners doing, is that let's take an example of a library and book. Now I see a lot of learners implementing inheritance between book and library. Okay, saying that book is a part of library only, no? So, but again, you should always say that, is book a type of library? The answer is no. So, in that case, book cannot be a subclass of library. Understand that? So, this statement always has to come true, that either is a or type of. So, if I can say book is a type of library, if that is true, I can implement inheritance. Or if book is a library, I can implement inheritance. Otherwise, I cannot implement inheritance relationship there. Then in that case, it should be a association relationship, that a library is associated with a book or a book is associated with a library. In that ways, you can implement an association relationship, but you cannot have an inheritance relationship. So this is like a single line rule that you can remember, that if this particular statement comes true, that A is a type of B, in that case you can have a inheritance relationship between the two objects that we are talking about. Okay, so this is about the rule that I was talking about, that you need to remember when you're talking about inheritance. Okay, now there are some advantages, disadvantages of inheritance that we'll be talking about. Like it minimizes duplicate code. Like as I said, if there are some functionalities which are there in the parent and which are there also in the child class, it can be written in the parent and used in the child. So that will minimize your duplicate code. It makes it flexible also, because now if there is some common functionality which is there in a lot of child classes, that can be implemented in the parent, and if there is any change needed, it could be easily implemented only at one place, that is in the parent class, and it can automatically be used by the child classes. Overriding, we will talk about this in detail in a future video, but overriding helps you in redefining a particular functionality or implementation. Data hiding, again, this also we will talk about in detail in a future video, wherein we will be talking about inheritance and access modifiers is when we will be talking about data hiding. So there is a lot of levels of data hiding that you can implement with the help of inheritance. Disadvantage, there is no independence. Now understand, when I'm associating two objects with an inheritance relationship, I am tightly coupling both of them. So then there is no independence of the classes. Both are dependent on each other, and a change in one might affect the other. Usually it is that the change in the parent affects all the children. That's how it is more affecting. Again, it decreases the execution speed, again because of tight coupling. The execution speed decreases, and because these are dependent classes, they'll get loaded all the time, so it decreases the execution speed. And refactoring of code becomes difficult because they are dependent. So a change in one will affect a lot of them, so refactoring becomes difficult. So these are some of the advantages and disadvantages of inheritance. Now let's quickly get into seeing a simple example of inheritance. But before that, as far as implementation of inheritance comes, there's a very important keyword that is used, that is the extends keyword. So whenever I want to implement a relationship of inheritance, I need to use the extends keyword. So I need to say class A extends class, B. B is my another class that goes and extends. So when I write something like this is when I can say I'm implementing a inheritance relationship. In our case, we will be using our same shapes project in which we will try to implement the inheritance relationship and see how it is working. So let's go ahead and see the example. So here I already have this triangle class. If you have been following me in the past videos, you must have known that I have created this triangle class which implements the eye-shape interface and stuff. There are a lot of methods available into it which are public, and there are some private variables available into it. I also have another class that is a right angle triangle class which I have created here, and this particular class, a right angle triangle class, is going to inherit the triangle class. Now again we can check our rule here, that is right angle triangle a type of triangle, or is right angle triangle a triangle? The answer is yes. So in that case, a right angle triangle and triangle can have a inheritance relationship. So that is how you can check before implementing a class or before implementing the inheritance relationship. You can check this, whether is a class A type of, or is class A a B. That is how you can check, and you can accordingly take a decision whether you can implement an inheritance relationship or not. So I can say extends and I can say triangle. Now because triangle is in a different package, we will have to again import the particular class. So you can see I've implemented triangle class, and you can have various methods. You can create your own methods here, or you can even use the methods from the parent. So already I have calculate area and stuff. I can implement a method here, say a perimeter method. So I can say public, and I can say int, and I can say perimeter. So this is a specific method of the right angle triangle class, and I can say three arguments here: int side 1, int side 2, and int side 3. Okay, and what I can do here is I can say return side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3 and a semicolon, and that is it. Now this is already there. What we'll do now is we'll create a test class here. So we'll right click here and we'll say new class, and we can say inheritance test class. Should contain a main, and here now there are various things that we can do here. Is what we can do here is we can either say triangle T is equals to new triangle. Now this is a new right angle triangle. This is also a way of implementing polymorphism in Java. So I need to implement, rather import triangle and right angle triangle both, because they are in different packages. So I can say this, and then I can say T dot, or rather I can say sysout T dot let's say calculate area. But before that, I can set the various values. So I can say set base as, let's say, 13, and I can say T dot set height as, let's say, 15. So this is there, and you can see I can very well call the method of the parent here, and if you run this, you will see it is calculating the area for us and giving us. Now one thing that you cannot do here is that I cannot go and call perimeter method here. Why? Because perimeter is not implemented in the parent. So I cannot say T dot perimeter. You can see it is not coming. Can you see this? Okay. So for that, what I can do is I can create an object of right angle triangle. I can say right angle triangle RT is equals to new right angle triangle. Okay. And I can say sysout. Now here I can actually say both. I can use whatever is available from the parent. I can say T dot set base. This is coming from the parent. You can even see that here. If you can see here, set base method comes from triangle class, right? So I can set some base here. Let's say I'm setting 25 as the base, and I can say RT dot set height. So I can say height is, let's say, 36, and I can call both the methods here. I can first call rt dot calculate area, also it works, and I can also call sysout rt dot perimeter, and I can pass all the three sides. So let's say I'm passing one of the sides as 25, the second side that I'm passing is, let's say, 26, and let's say the third side that I'm passing is, let's say, 29. So I can pass those. You can see both the methods are getting called. The method that is coming from the parent calculate area we know is from triangle class, and perimeter which is coming from the child class. Okay. There are other ways of implementing this also, which we will see in future videos when we talk about typecasting with inheritance, is when we will also see another way of doing the same thing. Here we have gone ahead and created the object of right angle triangle class itself. But if I want to do it with the object of triangle class, how can I do that? Can also be done. So we'll see a way of doing that in a future video. But as of now, we are just seeing this basic example. So when I run this, you can see it will show me both. So this is my calculate area of the T object. This is calculate area of the RT object, and this is perimeter of RT object. Okay, so you won't even have those methods getting called here. So this is how you implement inheritance, and as you can see, I can call all the members. Again, remember, when I am a child class, I can call only protected and public members of my parent. In case if the child and the parent are in the same class, in that case you can even call the default members, because they are in the same package. You can even call the default members. Private members you cannot call. Even if you are a child class, you cannot call the private members. In case if you are not aware of what private public protected is, I have created a video on access modifiers which you can check out here. I'll share the link here, which you can check out and see how it works. What are the various access modifiers and how they work. You can see that there. Okay, so this is all about the basics of inheritance and how it works and how the classes are implemented when it is an inheritance relationship. In a future video, we will talk about a lot of other things, like we will talk about types of inheritance, what is inheritance and how it is, how it uses access modifiers or how they are implemented with inheritance. We'll talk about method overriding, we'll talk about typecasting. Here, we will also talk about the difference between overloading and overriding. We'll see how method overriding works, what is method overloading. We've already spoken, in fact, in a previous video what method overloading is. If in case you've not seen, I'll share the link of that also here. You can check that out, what exactly method overloading is. We'll talk about how they are different from each other in this particular video when we talk about method overriding. We will also talk about typecasting and inheritance, which I just told you about. And we'll talk about inheritance and constructors, how constructors behave when inheritance is into picture, how you can call the parent class constructor and all that. And we'll also talk about what are nested final and abstract classes and how inheritance affects all this. So there are a lot of videos coming up in future, so stay tuned and you can check out all these videos once they keep coming and understand the concepts. In case if you are interested in seeing my future, previous videos that I have made, I'll share the playlist here. You can check out those videos and see the various concepts, how they are implemented, and learn the various concepts here through these videos. That is it for today. Thank you. Bye-bye. Please like my videos if you like my content. Share it with your friends and family. And comment in the comment section in case if you have any doubts, any questions, any queries, or any feedback if you would want to share. You please share it in the comment section. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.